Hi, everybody. Welcome to my homestead and welcome to my channel. My name is Jared. I got an email from Jan Mahoney. Subject line, Kirtland Fireside in Ogden, Utah. I was like, what? Is this like the same fireside that Beth emailed me about? You might remember a few videos ago, Beth Jukes had sent me this email where she took all of her notes from this fireside by Carl R. Anderson. And he's like a historian and expert on the Kirtland period of church history. And there were some really interesting insights in this that she shared. By the way, make sure to subscribe to her. She has her own channel that she's just starting out. She responded to my call for sisters in the church that want to start YouTube channels. I'm offering to do interviews with them and to promote their channels because President Nelson keeps reiterating that the women of right now are the women that President Spencer W. Kimball foresaw. They would be the women that would bring in large numbers of people into the church and attract the good women of the world into the church. So I want to help that. So we're doing round 2. And so far there's basically 3 that I've started to work with. I did the interview with Jessica with Higher Holier History. Make sure to subscribe to her. And then we're talking about Beth right now, Stand as a Witness. And then the most recent one is Aurora with the My podcast. So I'll put the links for their channels in the description box below. Please do me and them and the world a favor by subscribing and supporting them and helping them achieve whatever their destiny is with YouTube. They can go really far if they just stick with it and be consistent. And their voices will be heard. So please help them and please share their channels with your friends and family. But anyway, Beth, she was the one that first talked about this fireside, and I guess it was recorded and it's on YouTube. So I would encourage you to watch this right away. I don't know how long this person is going to have it up, but I'll put a link for it in the description box below, and it is worth watching. And so he has written a book, and his book is actually on archive.org. It's called The Savior in Kirtland by Carl Rix Anderson. And he has some very, I think, unique information. He's collected a lot of information about the Kirtland Temple and the Kirtland period of the church. And this just seems to be full of gems. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through here, and I'm going to go myself to the primary sources using this as a guide. And I've decided to put together a new spreadsheet, and here it is. I'm really interested in maybe tracking all these different visitations that we've had since this last dispensation began. And so I have a new spreadsheet. This is the only way that I can keep track of all this stuff. This is my way, is spreadsheets. So I'm just starting this one off. It's probably going to look different as I refine it over time, but it's called Timeline Visitations. So in my most recent video from earlier today, we talked about the dedication of the Kirtland Temple, how there was an unknown tall angel with dark eyes that was there. He was sent as a messenger, or I don't know if it said he was a messenger, but he was sent to accept the dedication of the Kirtland Temple. And then we also found out, excuse me, that John, the Beloved, he was there. And so I want to get this all down. I want to get the complete picture, not just from the Kirtland Temple, the Kirtland period, but throughout church history, because we've covered a number of them. But I need to start, saving all these and putting them in one place. Remember, you can access my spreadsheets anytime. The link for it is in the description box below. There's currently 2 people that are looking at the spreadsheet as I'm making this video. But there's a lot to explore with these spreadsheets, and they're incomplete, and I'm open to additions. Just email me if you have something that you think should be on the spreadsheets, and I would appreciate that, and other people would appreciate that too. Okay, so I'm going to be reading, I looked through his book, and I came across this part right here, just kind of randomly, page 241, where he talks about a story that was related by Mary Elizabeth Lightner. And it was Joseph, I guess, according to her, It was Joseph Smith's first meeting when he came to Kirtland. And it's unclear if it took place in the Kirtland Temple. I don't know exactly where it took place. It doesn't say it in his book, and it doesn't say it here on the primary source, but we're going to be reading from this. There's a transcript here. This is called Remarks by Sister Mary E. Lightner, who was sealed to Joseph Smith in 1842. She is 87 years of age, and this is from April 14th, 1905, BYU. Okay? And there's some pretty interesting stuff in here that you're not going to want to miss. One more thing before we do that. Here's the Flood the Earth Challenge. In case you missed it in the last video, we hit the goal of 1,000 people participating in this challenge. And so we're going to take it to the next level. I'm still waiting to hear some comments, what you think the next goal should be for a number of people that will have participated in this challenge. And then we're still trying to get to 10,000 copies of the Book of Mormon shared. We're at 8,785. So we've made really good progress. It's changing lives. If you want to change the situation in the world, politically, socially, this is truly how you do it. This is how you do it. You teach people correct principles, and then that's in turn reflected in their vote, in their actions, and the way that they operate in society. So please share the Book of Mormon. Whether you participate in this challenge or not, please just do it. Use the Gospel Library app, go to Scriptures. There's a button there that says share. And when you click on that, it'll give you a link for the Book of Mormon app, which is designed for people that don't know the church. And then you can send it to whoever you want. Once you share it, let me know in the comments or send me an email, and make sure to include #flood. Okay, this helps me find your email in your comment. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get into it. First, one thing I want to share right off the bat, he said something in the Fireside that I thought was really neat. I looked up the primary source. It's on, you can find it on josephsmithpapers.org, and it's right here. Okay, this is Joseph Smith. It looks like this is also in History of the Church, but this is the primary source. I suppose this would have been like probably May 2nd. Yeah, May 2nd, 1942. Joseph Smith. Heavenly priesthood are not idle spectators. The Spirit of God will be showered down from above. It will dwell in our midst. This is one of the things that he quoted in his talk in the Fireside. He talked about the fact that the heavenly priesthood is a real thing, that it's not just, us here on earth, with our priesthood holders. There's an actual organization on the other side, and they're very real. And like it says here, they're not idle spectators. And so I want to try and capture that fact, like I said, with this new spreadsheet. It's going to take some time, but that's why I have so many videos, is because I'm doing a lot of research. A lot of people are like, oh, we can't keep up with all your videos. And I'm sorry, but there's just too much. I'm doing this not just for entertainment. I would love it if you could watch all my videos. I don't expect anybody to, but I'm also doing like this work where I'm trying to research as much as I can and get it recorded down so that I can use it, you can use it, everyone can use it. So it's just full speed ahead, but it takes time. Okay, so that's really neat. Okay, so we're going to be, so what we're about to read here is from Mary Elizabeth Rollins. And you may not know her off the bat. Maybe you do. Let me know. Put it in the comments. Did you already know who this was just by the name? By the name, did you know who this was? You'll remember this story. She was one of the two sisters that saved like the printing of the Doctrine and Covenants when it was originally being printed. You might recognize this picture right here. You have the mob that came to destroy the house or the building where Doctrine and Covenants was being printed, and they preserved these printouts or manuscripts. Here's another picture. I really like this one. I didn't know that this one existed. I guess this is called I Will Uphold Thee, Carolyn Rollins by Elspeth Young. So I really like this. I wouldn't mind having one of these like printed out and hanging up in my house. They actually tell this story when you go to the Independence Visitor Center. I've gone through that tour a couple times. Like you go downstairs and they take you through like these, like the replicas essentially of the printing shop. And they give you like a replica of like what the finished product of the Doctrine and Covenants would have looked like, and it's like really small, and it's just really cool. If you guys, if you can go to these church sites, you really should do it. It is going to be worth the money for you, I promise. Go to Missouri, go to Kansas City, visit the Independence Visitor Center, go to Kirtland. I think it'll give you very strong spiritual experiences. I promise you that. But anyway, so this is her. On the Wikipedia, just a quick thing. It says she was a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and a Mormon pioneer, one of the plural wives of Joseph Smith and Brigham Young. Just so you're not confused, she was okay. So I don't know all the details, but essentially, Brigham Young acted as like a proxy for Joseph Smith. So she got sealed to Joseph Smith. Brigham Young acting as a proxy. And I think they may have been like married for time, Brigham Young and her, but for eternity, she's sealed to Joseph Smith. Lightner is credited with rescuing papers that were later published as part of the Doctrine and Covenants from anti-Mormon mobs. So she's essentially a hero. Okay, so she gave this address to missionaries, I think in Provo. Missionaries like at the MTC. Okay. So I'm going to read this the best that I can. I haven't read this whole thing. I just like started kind of like skimming through it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have got to make a video on this. Okay. Well, my young brethren, I can say I never was more surprised in my lifetime than to be called upon to speak to you young men who are called up to go into the mission field to preach the gospel to the nations of the earth. It is true. I've been in the church from the beginning. Let me just pause right here. Wouldn't it be amazing to like listen to her talk? Like she's like someone who participated in these things in the very beginning of the church. She like saw all these things, including what she's about to share in just a minute here. Could you imagine being a missionary about to go on your mission and hear her say what she's about to say here? Listen up. Just 6 months after it was organized, I joined it. I've been acquainted with all of those who were first members of this church, with all those who saw the plates and handled them. Can you imagine this? Those who even saw the angel Moroni, who came to them. I'm well acquainted with every one of them, and I have known them from the time that they came to Ohio until their death. And I'm the only living witness who was at the first meeting when the prophet held in Kirtland. Okay, so here we go. If it wasn't already crazy enough. The Smith family were driven from New York, and a small church had been organized. Oliver Cowdery, Peter Whitmer, and Ziba Peterson, or Zeba Peterson were members. Well, I being anxious, though young, to learn about the plates from those who knew all about it, my mother and I went up to the Smith family the next night after they came to Kirtland. As I went in, there were 2 or 3 others present. Okay, so yeah, the Smith. Okay, so Joseph Smith had just come to Kirtland. It's not clear. It's still not clear exactly where this was at. I guess if he had just first come to Kirtland, it wouldn't have been at the temple. So maybe somebody's residence. So Joseph Smith, his family, and then Mary Elizabeth, and then some other people. Okay. They were all there, the whole Smith family, from the old gentleman and his wife to all the sons and daughters. As we stood there talking to them, Joseph and Martin Harris came in. So Martin Harris said he, quote, There are enough here to hold a little meeting, end quote. Joseph looked around very solemnly. It was the first time some of them had ever seen him. They got a board and put it across 2 chairs to make seats. Oh, it's like a bench. Martin Harris sat on a little box at Joseph's feet. They sang and prayed. Joseph got up and began to speak to us. As he began to speak very solemnly and very earnestly, all at once his countenance changed, and he stood mute. Those who looked at him that day said there was a searchlight within him over every part of his body. Now that's kind of weird. Those who looked at him that day said there was a searchlight within him over every part of his body. I never saw anything like it on the earth. I could not take my eyes off him. He got so white. So she's like talking in a literal sense. Not just like, oh, you could see the light of God in him. She's talking about like light. Okay. I could not take my eyes off him. He got so white that anyone who saw him thought he was transparent. Transparent. I remember I thought I could listen to this. I remember I thought I could almost see the bones through the flesh. I've seen through many changes since, but that is photographed on my brain. Yeah, because like where else would you see something like that? I guess you could, I don't know, you can't put your hand up to the sun and like, the only time that I've seen something like that is kind of like what she is talking about, like a searchlight. I don't know, but like if you have like a flashlight and you put it up against your hands, like you put your hand on top of it, you can kind of see the bones inside sort of. So anyway, this is very, very interesting experience for someone from that time. Okay, I shall remember it and see it in my mind's eye as long as I will remain upon the earth. Yeah, how could you not? That's not really a typical experience. He stood some minutes. He looked over the congregation as if to pierce every heart. Said he, do you know who has been in your midst? One of the smiths said, an angel of the Lord. Martin Harris said, it was our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Joseph put his hands on Martin and said, God revealed that to you, brothers and sisters. The Spirit of God has been in your midst. The Savior has been here this night. And I want to tell you to remember it. There is a veil over your eyes, for you could not endure to look upon him. You must be fed with milk, not with strong meat. I want you to remember this as if it were the last thing that especially my something. He has given all of you to me and has sealed you up to everything life, that where he is, there you may be also. And if you are tempted of Satan, say, get thee behind me, Satan. These words are figured upon my brain, and I never took my eye off his countenance. Then he knelt down and prayed. I've never heard anything like it before or since. I felt that he was talking to the Lord, and that, rested to eye upon us in every fiber of our bodies, and we received a sermon from the lips of the representative of God. Much has come and gone through my mind, from me through the power and visitations of this church, or vicissitudes of this church. I've been in almost every mob. Oh, geez. I've been driven about, and I told you I would be shot and had a gun pointed at me, but I stayed with the church until it was driven from Nauvoo. The words of the prophet that had been revealed to him have always been with me from the beginning to the end of the gospel. Every principle that has been given in the church by the prophet is true. I know whereon I stand. I know what I believe, I know what I know, and I know what I testify to you is the living truth. As I expect to meet it at the bar of the eternal Jehovah, it is true. So, okay, I guess we'll end right there. Yeah, that would be a pretty incredible experience. I thought I had recently read, I don't know if I read this while doing a video, but I thought I had seen somewhere recently that the reason why well, in the case of the Kirtland temple, why there were so many like Pentecostal experiences and then, situations like this where it seems like before the temple, there were like marvelous kind of like manifestations. The reason why is because those early saints needed to have those like really firm witnesses to take the gospel to the world. It's like they needed an extra boost to kind of get the church going and to speak with conviction. And you can definitely sense that conviction with her. So anyway, I'm just going to go through here, like I said, and I'm going to just over time, just build up this spreadsheet and hopefully come across more stories, maybe make more spreadsheets for other things. But, I think that this is what we should all do in our own way. Here's an easy way to do it is with spreadsheets. You can just copy what I do. But I think it's good for all of us to collect our own stuff and so that we don't forget, so we can always reference it in the future. If someone comes to you and they have, a concern or a question or something like that, where to look. You can just be like, oh yeah, no, I know exactly all about that. Or this is something that so-and-so said, or this is a story that happened one time. You should think about this. So, and you guys are invited to copy my spreadsheets. You can copy them exactly how they are, or you can go quote by quote or whatever you want to do, copy and paste it onto your own stuff. But I think we should all do a serious study into the gospel like this and be organized. So anyway, there's more things that he said in here. I'm probably going to do more videos, kind of like talking about a few of the things that he said and do my own research, but you should definitely watch this. This was really good. It was well worth the time. So thank you, Jan, for sending me the video. And thank you, Beth, again, for letting me know that, there even was, because if I hadn't received your email, I may not have like really cared too much about this. Maybe I would have, I don't know, but you definitely made it so that when I got this email from Jan, I took note of it. And then one more time, you guys just make sure to subscribe to the My podcast, Stand as a Witness, and Higher Holier History. And then don't stop there. I have all the previous people that I had interviewed and supported. So there's more. Click on View All or click on Featured, and it'll show you everybody. Okay? All right, well, that's going to be it for this one. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe, like this video if you liked it, leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Also, make sure to share it, and I'll talk to you guys later.